Good evening, everybody. It's 9:30 p.m. on the East Coast, 6:30 p.m. on the West Coast on a Monday evening. James, how are you doing this evening? Aside from drinking upside down.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I was happy to share an anti-hiccup technique with
Yeah,
you, just in case you have to
before
deal
we
with it
were
again. But
recording. Yeah.
yeah,
I would ask you to demonstrate
gone.
for us again, but I feel like maybe that's a bridge too far for this particular podcast.
Well, I think the best thing to do is if one of us has hiccups, then
Then
do
we'll
it. Now,
if
yeah,
so if the circumstances are right, we start the stream
yeah,
and one of us has hiccups, we will then demonstrate. So
yeah,
it's a sequence, is a series of events that must occur in a particular order, and then we will demonstrate it. That's fair. I feel like that is a fair set of requirements to make a fool of ourselves on a stream.
yeah. No, I mean it's not that. I think I feel like you're making it sound a little more complicated. It really is
Well,
just
I mean,
a couple,
it does
you know.
involve juggling.
Yeah, it's take a couple of gulps. You take just a couple of sips of water,
Hmm.
hold it for a second, and then you do a fold. You
I
just literally
see.
bend
Yeah.
bend down and drink, and then you stand back up and do it for ten gulps. I mean, it's sort of complicated, but
I
it's
assure
not that
everybody
hard.
it's way funnier than it sounds.
So, well, wait. When I get the hiccups, I'd love to demonstrate it, but if you get the hiccups,
Well, I mean,
you're
yeah,
the
no,
yeah,
we've set these ground rules. We must adhere to them. It's
yeah,
forever written in stone on the internet. The digital granite that all things are recorded on the internet.
yeah.
So
I gotta give credit. Give credit to my friend Corey. He's the one that told me about this technique, and I swear by it now.
there you
So
go.
even though I don't know if Corey ever watches our stream, but thank you, Corey. It's basically there digitally somewhere, so I can point to it and go, hey, I gave you credit. So
Speaking of people who watch our stream, so Jeff, we know Jeff. He was a guest a couple of weeks ago. He did watch the stream last week, and he was personally offended that I was curious about whether or not he knew who Mel Brooks was. He does, in fact, know who Mel Brooks is. I feel like I need to clear the air and set the record straight.
so this is one of our first public apologies. Well,
This is, yes, this is a public apology, public correction, whatever you want to call it. Jeff, I apologize. You do, in fact, know who Mel Brooks is. Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea culpa. He showed me all of the movies that he owns digitally, and it is more than farce, by the way. He does like movies that are not farce. Though, but it's really farce. Like, he really likes farce.
I feel like there's another apology just waiting to be strung up for next
I
week.
I largely go from apology to apology with Jeff, honestly. Like, that's really just kind of the leitmotif of our relationship as friends.
Now I'm starting to wonder because I kind of nodded emphatically with you.
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much.
No,
I didn't
you,
give
you
it.
you get a free pass.
Do I
Like,
need to
no.
Okay.
He fully put the blame on me, which is
Okay.
fine. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is not an attempt to throw you under the bus. I fully accept
Because
all
I can apologize
responsibility.
I can apologize for nodding.
No,
while going
no,
along
you
with
don't.
you.
No need.
Enabling.
No need. Yeah, no. I don't need to be enabled. I speak off the cuff all of the time. I make assumptions left and right. Although I maintain, after looking at the list of movies, and Jeff, if you're watching this, this is on record, that your favorite genre is still farce. So
That's your belief, right?
that is my belief. That is my belief. Like,
And
Jeff
you're
may
using
disagree
evidence.
with that. Disagree with
Yeah.
that. I'm using the evidence that he has provided to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
To say
Because
that
he
I
does have the
believe.
favorable. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Because his favorable reviews tend to be with the farce type
Exactly.
movie,
So
right?
I maintain that at this point I owe nobody any more apologies.
Oh God.
I am examining the evidence presented to me and I am drawing a conclusion. I submit to the court. Anyway,
Oh, man.
Jeff does
Yeah,
know who
with
Mel
our-
Brooks is. So there we just say it, get it settled.
I wonder if there's some sort of record because of our fives to tens of viewers, and we already have to do an apology.
I mean, it's
you
well,
know,
look,
that's-
we've been doing this for multiple years at this point, and this is our first recorded apology. I think we're doing well, honestly.
That's
I think
true.
we're,
Yeah,
I think
okay.
our status, regardless of our number of viewers, our apology to non-apology ratio is well within tolerable limits.
I can't believe Eric, you're making the talent mad.
Yeah, I know. That's why I felt like you can't ever piss
Yeah.
off the talent, right? You always
No,
have
you
to
can't.
acquiesce to their demands.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But
but
okay,
yeah.
well, good. Hopefully the apology's accepted, and he loves farce movies, and that's great. So we've established that. So I think we're good now, right? That's what I've learned
That
today.
is what. No, that's where we're at this point. I feel like we have said all there is to be said about that. And speaking of farce, this is a great transition. It's a perfect transition.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I watched Weird, the Al Yankovic story,
Oh,
yesterday.
that's with Daniel
Daniel
Radcliffe starring in.
Radcliffe and so many people. I cannot believe the number of cameos they got into this movie.
Okay.
But it's pretty great. It's
Well,
it is what if Weird Al did a movie, right? It is a parody of the biopic genre, and it hits every single note that it's supposed to hit.
wow.
It hits every single beat it's supposed to hit. Daniel Radcliffe is just, you can tell he is loving this character. He just leans into it completely. It's hilarious. It's really
Oh
funny. I
man.
really enjoy it, and it's inspired based on a Funny or Die sketch that was done years ago, which actually interestingly stalled Aaron Paul as
Hmm.
Weird Al and Olivia
Hmm.
Wilde as Madonna.
Okay.
And obviously, in the movie, it stars Daniel Radcliffe as Weird Al and Evan Rachel Wood as Madonna. But
Okay.
they expand on that. The original sketch is a trailer for this movie, and so they've taken that trailer and they've turned it into a full length
Full
movie.
movie. I wonder why
And
didn't they just cast the original actors? I mean, both casting for the sketch and for the movie are perfect. I think. I'm
yeah,
just
yeah, I
in my
think
head, you know.
all four of those casting choices were well
Yeah.
done. But I don't know. I don't know. Daniel Radcliffe definitely owns the character. He does a great job. If I had to nitpick, I think Olivia Wilde does a better Madonna than Evan Rachel Wood does, but
Hmm.
she does a great job. And it's hard for me to say anything, but the direction they take that character is pretty great.
Hmm.
Yeah, all in all, I enjoyed it. If you can wait until January, Jeff, same old Jeff, says that they're supposed to release a Blu-ray in January. That way, if you watch it on Roku, you have to see it with ads, which I did.
Oh.
But if you wait to January, you can rent the Blu-ray or maybe stream it on another place, and you don't have to deal with the advertisements.
Huh. So
And
you see it in a theater or did you see it streaming?
no,
Wait, you just said it.
I
You saw
just
it
saw it on Roku
streaming.
TV.
Okay.
I
All
don't think
right.
it's
Yeah.
in theaters. I would have gone to see it in theaters if they released it in theaters, but I don't think they did.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I've seen like snippets of it, like Weird Al Yankovic movies coming out and all that. I didn't know, but it seemed like the marketing and advertising has been really spotty for it. Like I didn't know about it until tonight, really, that you could watch it. So,
Well, I mean, I've got a
uh,
TV with built-in Roku, and that stupid thing won't shut up about it. It literally
really,
against my, I mean, like with no approval for me, it added to my menu. So there's like home and settings and add channel and that kind of stuff.
hmm
It
hmm
added watch the Weird Al movie to my list of options
Oh
without
wow,
my permission.
wow.
It was crazy. So if you own a TV that has a built-in Roku, there is no way you missed this. It is
Okay,
not possible for you to have
so
missed it.
they clearly did a deal with Roku.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah,
Wow.
it's a Roku movie. Like I think it might be the first one.
Oh, okay.
It's so odd to me because okay, so you get Daniel Radcliffe and Evan Rachel Wood are Weird Al and Madonna. Then you've got Rainn Wilson as Dr. Demento. You've got Conan O'Brien as Andy
Wow.
Warhol. You got Emo Phillips as Dolly. You've got Jack Black is Wolfman Jack. You've got Dimitri Martin as Little Tim. You've got I mean, it's just like, the list of cameos is it's bottomless. It goes on and on and on. The number of
Man,
people they got to be in this movie is crazy. I don't. They must have just done it for the love of Weird Al. Is all I can imagine because just
I
the
can't. You had me when you said Dr. Demento. I was like,
yeah,
really?
yeah, and Rainn Wilson does a
Wow.
great Dr. Demento. So
Oh. Yeah, now you got it. I definitely got to see it
Oh
now. Just
yeah,
because.
it's super worth it. I mean, it's actually arguably even worth it with the commercials. Just keep your remote on hand so you
Mm-hmm.
can mute it. It's one of the nice things about being blind as a bat is I can mute it, take my glasses off, and now I can't even see what's going on the TV. Um,
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Wow. Well, I guess I'll try to do some work while we're
Yeah,
talking a
we're,
bit.
we're
I have
10
more.
minutes into the stream and you haven't even.
Well, when you said Weird Al, I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's
we need to
freaking
focus. We need
cool.
to focus.
Yeah. All right. So I will share screen and go from there. Okay. So where I'm picking up tonight is pretty much where I have been the past. It feels like the past few weeks is
Mm-hmm.
just doing more animation for Mitchell. I'm actually do the actual animation for this tonight. I have him sinking down, coming back up. So I'm gonna set that up tonight. We'll see how far I get.
Okay.
But while I'm doing that, more on Weird Al though is it a biopic that kind of is sort of truthful about his life and
No,
like he kind
no,
of
no,
okay.
no, 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 no. I mean, I don't want to say anything, but
Okay, all
no, I
right.
mean, there are minor beats that are correct. Like, yes, he did do an interview with Oprah, right? Yes, he did
So
learn accordion at a young age. And yes, he did become friends with Dr. Demento. But I mean, these are really small, tiny little
uh,
blips of reality amidst something that is like 99% false.
wow. So do they do the Oprah interview in there too?
Briefly, they don't go into great detail about it, um,
Okay.
but yeah, Oprah does show up briefly. But no, it is. it's,
That's
not,
really
it's
funny.
not remotely factual, and they make no attempt um, to make it seem factual either.
Well, the next big question is how would you rate this against UHF?
I like it way more than UHF, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, UHF is really scattered. It's a little bit
Yeah.
too absurdist for its own good.
Uh-huh.
It
Uh-huh.
doesn't have. It doesn't really have a strong through line.
Hmm.
As a movie, the Weird is a better movie.
Yeah.
And it's not. I mean, UHF is still silly, and it's like that movie. It's great to partake in the wacky tobacco and sit with friends and giggle for a couple of
Yeah.
hours.
It's a cult classic
It
of
is a
sorts,
cult
right?
classic for sure.
Yeah.
But no, I mean I was stone cold sober when I watched Weird yesterday, and it was really funny.
Okay. All right. So wait, so is this movie something you could watch with your friends too, or is it like it sounds to me like it's best to watch with friends, right?
I
Just
mean,
like a whole
yeah.
group
I
of
mean,
people.
I come from the perspective that the more people that you watch a movie with, the better. So I will
Hmm.
never say watch a movie alone. From my standpoint, it's if you can
That's
watch a
true.
movie with
Yeah,
other people, always watch a movie with more people, right?
that's true. It's kind of more of a communal event that way. Yeah.
I agree. Every movie, I have never seen a movie where I'm like, wow, I would have much rather see this alone.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
I mean, I guess if I'm sitting on my couch, if I'm
Hmm.
if I'm going to a movie theater, and this is just how broken a human being I am, if I'm going to a movie theater, I would prefer to watch a movie by myself in the theater. Um, but if I'm watching a movie at home, or just anywhere but a movie theater, I would much rather be watching it with other people.
Hmm. Okay.
So yes, I mean, if you can watch it with other people, I would highly recommend it. I mean, the Weird is a fun movie where everybody brings their own beers. You get some hummus and crackers. People bring snacks, and you just sit. You watch the movie, and you reminisce about your youth for an hour after you finish watching the movie. Because if you grew up with Weird Al like I did,
Hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of beats that are completely fictional. Don't get me wrong, but they are reminiscent, at least, of actual moments of the past.
Okay.
And so there is, and there's a lot of music in it, obviously, and it's
Hmm.
all Weird Al music, obviously, and so it's sort of some of his greatest hits, right? So
Hmm.
yeah, it's good. It's funny. complete fiction. There's no, there's almost no element of truth in this movie, but it is funny nonetheless.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'd like to watch it. Yeah, I grew up with Dr. Mento, Weird Al
Oh
as
yeah,
well. Like,
sure,
I used
sure.
to listen to like Dr. Mento used to come on kind of late at night, around 10:30 ish or
Mm-hmm.
something like that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Roughly.
That's right.
And didn't he have his intro where he was like sing for like the first 2 minutes of his intro to start his show, the Dr.
I,
Mento show, and then you go woo 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 and all kinds of stuff.
that
Maybe not.
sounds
Maybe
familiar, but I'm not
yeah, a little bit.
certain.
I'm
Yeah.
just curious, like how much they went into with Dr. Demento, like how accurate they were with
No, no,
playing
no, no.
him.
They so, I mean, at the risk of getting too in depth with it all,
Uh
um, he is a mentor character to Weird Al,
huh.
so you don't really ever
Okay.
hear Dr. Demento's backstory. He never becomes a radio personality. He's much more sort of the wizened old guy who brings the true talent to the surface. Blah 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 blah. I mean, he
Okay.
plays sort of that tropey mentor character that's in like every biopic movie, right?
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I wonder how much truth there is to that. Like, was he a actual
They were
mentor
friends,
for-
as far as I know.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah.
close they actually were, but they did have a friendship.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Um. Yeah, you're getting me more excited to watch this film
It's funny.
for sure.
It's very funny, and I don't want to say too much because
Yeah. Yeah.
there were some really weird left turns that work within the context of the movie, but if you like sort of spoil them, they become less effective in that instance.
Gotcha.
And me, I
Um.
don't care about spoilers, but I'm reluctant. I want you to kind of go in.
Yeah, see, for me, I do. I
Right.
don't want to have spoilers. I love to watch it. I guess I'm like, as intended, like it's just with just fresh eyes and then reacting to it in a whatever way. Hopefully, the director was wanting. Like when the director's making their stuff, they're like they want a reaction of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
So if I already know it beforehand, it becomes artificial. For me, that's how I look at it. Like I already know it's coming. It's like I don't have the same rawness to it.
Mm-hmm.
How
Sure.
I feel. Even with the laugh, like laughs are, something's funny because humans, try to hold back a laugh maybe if they're conscious of it, but it's also an unconscious thing too, right? If you're find something funny, you're gonna laugh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what's already there. It's funny. I don't know. It can be, but yeah, laugh is different because it's an anticipatory laugh versus a raw, wild laugh that you just didn't see coming, and it's really funny. Yeah, I'm getting really, really into the weeds.
No, I mean if
about-
you want to start talking about the psychology of laughter, I mean that's fine. We can do that. I mean I've known people who, for them, it's a mark of pride that they don't laugh.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's what I
Um,
mean. Like they stifle it and
Mm-hmm.
they feel like they don't want to emote.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just interesting.
And it's
Um,
not even exclusively a male thing. Like the
No.
instinct would be like it's men who are like, oh, men are stoics and that kind of thing, or emotionally mature or whatever. I know as many women who are like there is this pride in not laughing at movies, or in public or whatever, and it's an odd thing. Like, why would you deny yourself laughter?
Yeah.
I love laughing. Any excuse to
Same.
laugh, I will laugh.
Same.
I mean, it's just so. But some people, that's their preference, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not telling anybody how they should live their life, but it's just like, why? Isn't it way more fun to laugh? I don't know. I love
Yeah.
laughing.
Yeah.
You
Preaching
know?
to the choir here.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Daniel, it's kind of
Daniel
funny 'cause
Radcliffe is
Radcliffe,
great.
He's a terrific actor. Like
Yeah.
I've seen like his comedy and his serious stuff. I mean, you can remove Harry Potter and just look at what he's done
Yeah,
post Harry
right,
Potter.
whatever.
It's all good. Yeah, it's all good. Like yeah. I don't know if you saw his movie Guns
Guns Akimbo, yeah.
Akimbo.
Guns Akimbo is a crazy movie.
Yeah, crazy movie, but he carries it. It's
Yeah,
terrific.
it is a
I think,
weird
like-
movie, but I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
It is a very
Um,
dark comedy for
Mhm.
anybody who has not seen it. It's a character who is a nerd who likes trolling people, and as a result of trolling the wrong people, he gets guns bolted to his hands.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Like, jeez. Is it based on a comic book or what?
I don't know. I don't know what the source material is. I would love it if it was just a screenwriter coming up with a fun idea rather than adapting another piece of material. I feel like in modern cinema, it's something that happens too easily. Is that rather than try to come up with something new, they'll crib from a graphic novel in particular. I mean, like that's sort of the favorite place to crib from. But I hope that I've not done any research into it. I like the movie. I hope that it was just an original concept. But anyway, who knows?
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, and then his other show that he had where he does it with Steve Buscemi.
Buscemi, yeah.
Buscemi. And it's like they've had 3 seasons of it where they cast the same characters, same actors, but they do different story arcs.
That's right. Different. What was that called? Yeah, I know exactly what show you're. Yeah, I don't remember. I know what show you're talking about. I never saw it actually, but I know what show you're talking about.
It's another good one. Like they do a great job in that. So yeah, but I definitely want to check it. I'll definitely check it out. For sure. So
I'm looking it up. Miracle Workers, that's what it is. Yeah, that's right. First
season was great.
That was on TBS, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was really weird how they ended up with it, but it's great. So yeah, definitely recommend if you're looking for a show to watch and you're kind of bored, whatever. That's a good one. It's kind of been.
Oh, it's on HBO Max actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max now. But it was originally on TBS. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, no, I'll definitely check that out. I've been meaning to watch it since forever because it looked funny, but
yeah. I haven't finished the most recent. I think the most recent iteration is them in the Wild West.
Okay.
So I haven't finished that one, but the other seasons, I really thought they were great. I thought they were really funny.
Looking at this, there's like a contemporary one, a Wild West one, and a Dark Ages one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they're all good. So.
Well, yeah. So I'll put that one on my list since it's on YouTube, or rather HBO Max. I've got some bad news for you, James.
Oh no. Well, what's the bad news?
I'm getting tired of Bayonetta 3.
Oh, all right. Just to catch up here, Bayonetta 3 came out
last weekend or the weekend before last. I can't remember.
Yeah, to celebrate Halloweenish time, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I had some, I had some reservations. You and I talked about this offline, but you and I are both Bayonetta fans. We played 1 and 2.
Multiple times.
I just got done playing 1 and 2 just like a few months ago to prepare for Bayonetta 3. But then this whole debacle with Helena Taylor, the voice actress, I think she was terrific for the first 2 games, and I had some hesitancy of buying number 3 because I didn't want to get my immersion taken out playing number 3 because this is the one. There's very few games where the voice actor or actress kind of actually helps with the game. Bayonetta being one, Metal Gear being another, and also God of War, the new iteration.
Sure.
Those voice actors, they're pretty much the character in that way, where you need to hear their voice, and there's no way that you can really. I always feel like you can't really replicate them, and if you try, you'll be able to pick it up. Well, after I waited to see how you felt about Bayonetta 3, and you liked it the first day you got it, you were all into it, right? So I thought, okay, I will also, with Eric's thumbs up, I will go ahead and get it. And yeah, now here we are. Let's fast forward. You went from you really liked it, you were impressed with it, and now here you are, and it's bad news time.
Viola is not a good character by any stretch of the imagination. She's annoying. Her playstyle is so completely divergent from Bayonetta, and it's not balanced the same, and it feels out of place, quite frankly. And then honestly, all the extra challenges, the whole game feels really unbalanced to me.
Mm-hmm.
I have sort of given up doing the side challenges at this point
Mm-hmm.
because I'm tired of going in there, attempting it, realizing that it's ridiculously difficult, and then moving on. I mean, you'll go into one sometimes and it's so easy that it's like, why did you even make this a challenge? And then other times you get into it and it's just like, yes, kill 10 enemies while you're being pulled into a black hole, and the only way not to die is to get witch time executed perfectly, so that you can run away from the black hole momentarily, but you're completely dependent on the enemies giving you an opportunity to trigger witch time in order for you to not get sucked into the black hole. And it just got to the point where it's like these are not worth doing anymore.
Yep. No, I mean, yeah. Yesterday, like it's. I thought like after yesterday, like I was telling you how I was getting annoyed with like the
Yeah.
floor is ice challenge. I couldn't stand it, but you lucked out with that. So okay, I see myself thinking, okay, Eric might actually be able to talk these challenges because I don't have the patience for it. I'm really curious if he gets through the rest of them. But now you, one
Nope.
day later, you're
One
done.
day later, I got to one. I'm like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah,
These are not fun. I've got better things to
they're
do.
not. And like I can't like none of the peripheral stuff is fun to me. Like chasing the stupid cat around, like just don't think it's fun. It's just
Mm-hmm.
annoying. You have
Mm-hmm.
to wait for it to. You kind of gave me a tip where you said like try to get it into a corner where it can't go anywhere. So I
That's clearly designed. I encountered another cat tonight, and it was like, okay, how do I get it trapped in a corner? And then going into it, knowing it, I managed to direct it into a corner, and that's definitely the trick. That's the mechanic.
yeah
That's what they want you to do
yeah.
is corner it.
What's weird to me though, Eric, is like in the very first time I've seen the cat was in chapter one, and
Mm-hmm.
it just runs in a square, like goes into the grate. There's nowhere to trap it, so you don't like. At least I mean, again, it's early, but as a player, if you need to look, if you have to understand you have to trap it. When they try to teach you that in the
I
very first
agree.
time
No, I
it
agree.
makes no sense to me. Like what? The only reason why you knew that is because you did it and you told
Mm-hmm.
me about it. It's like
Mm-hmm.
okay, now I know from now on to try to attempt to do that, and lo and behold, but there are moments where it just runs around in a circle, and like I just don't, I hate it. I think I give it like now at this point, I give it maybe a 10-minute test, and if I can't do it, I move on. It was everything, like that stupid little puzzle chunks that you have to jump in the air, like
Mm-hmm.
the platforming game, you fight in the camera too much, at least for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't have time for this.
Yeah. No,
You
I
know,
agree. And it's just for me coming off of Bayonetta 2, which for my money was perfectly
mm-hmm,
balanced. Like it was just
mm-hmm,
perfectly balanced.
mm-hmm,
I never felt like this is like, whoa, this is way too hard for where I am, or this is way too easy for where I am. It was just one of the most balanced action games I've ever played.
mm-hmm.
And Bayonetta 3 is just all over the place. And part of it is just because there's two protagonists with completely different combat systems,
Yeah.
right? And so, you the thing about the first two Bayonettas is you have the same character, and so you grow with this character, you get comfortable with the mechanics, you get into a particular combat mindset, right? But
Mm-hmm.
now in 3 you've got this secondary protagonist who has a completely different combat mechanic. And so it's just like when you see Viola show up on the loading screen, you're like, oh Christ, I have to remember how to play this character now,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, and then your muscle memory's already used to playing as Bayonetta. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, Bayonetta's just more fun to play.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, yeah.
I mean, she's had years to have refinement for her kit to, to move around the whole battle, arena and do stuff. But yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, again, we're preaching the choir tonight. We're not going to be disagreeing on anything tonight, I think, Eric. I mean,
I know it's a rare evening where we're
it's a
just in
rare
complete
evening.
agreement.
Yeah,
Yeah, agreement. Yeah.
and it's so the mechanic is so bad that my original concern about the voice actress Helen Taylor versus Jennifer Hale is way like my concern for that was in a misplaced because everything else, the other things that are negative about the game, completely now has outshined it. Like
Yeah.
there are moments where I'm playing the game, like yeah, it doesn't sound like Helen Taylor, like and it's, with whatever she's doing on Twitter, all that stuff. That's all. To me, I was just looking purely at the talent itself. Like her talent for playing that character was terrific, but um, there are moments where Jennifer Hill does terrific. Like, okay, yeah, it feels seamless. And there are other times where I'm like, it just feels like, yeah, it's not the same. And also, again, these are all things that are not related to the game, but the animation direction, and some of the spots feels like kind of wooden and a little bit weird. There's some weird timing with it where there's some awkward pauses, and then she's trying to be sexy flirty, and it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't feel. And the camp, you know what it is? It's the campy nature of it is kind of gone. Like when the first two, it didn't take itself too seriously, and in this one, maybe it's the tone of the game. I'm not sure, but it doesn't feel campy anymore. It doesn't feel fun anymore. She's not. Like, it feels to me like Bayonetta's not having fun. Like I know there's a weird comparison, but to me, Bayonetta is pretty much like what Bugs Bunny is in Warner Brothers cartoons. Like, yes, there's some threats to Bugs Bunny, but he's never that worried about anything. You know? In this game, this is purely narrative. There's some mortality to Bayonetta that I don't really enjoy. What I loved about playing that character is, like, you know, even if you suck as a game player, she's gonna be fine.
Right,
like,
right.
Yeah, but I guess, you know, as a writer, you know what, you know, you want to try to do things and try to grow a character. So maybe that's what they were attempting to do. But the path they've taken to try to grow Bayonetta is kind of diminished her overall.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think, you know, they've the addition of Viola is a real problem because it dilutes the impact of Bayonetta. It's no longer Bayonetta's story alone, and in fact, she's not even the first character you see in the games as the game starts, right? Or maybe she is, but only briefly. The first cutscene deals predominantly with Viola because the story is ultimately from her perspective, right?
Yeah.
And which is a shame that they went in that direction. And you know, I get the instinct of, like, we don't want to be an also-ran. I totally get that. But I feel like that they threw the baby out with the bathwater a little bit. And Bayonetta 3, it sort of smacks of the traditional, like, we don't know where to take this, so just put more crap in the bucket, right? And so you've got the stuff that was already good about Bayonetta, but now you've got all this other stuff on top of it, and it's kind of, like, a little cramped now. A lot of the new mechanics I don't love. I really dug the whole kaiju thing at the beginning, but now, honestly, it kind of kills the flow of combat. And it's too easy to get knocked out of, and there's too many things going on. You know, with Astral Chain, which had that sort of duality of the combat system, that was the entirety of the combat system. So every encounter was built around this notion of having these two characters on screen that you have to battle at the same time. But Bayonetta is not that. And so it's a little bit kind of like trying to force a square peg into a round hole, right? You're trying to turn Bayonetta's combat system into something that it's really not, right? And it's fun at the beginning, but as you start getting to the harder encounters, because I'm over halfway through the game at this point, as you start getting into the harder encounters, it starts breaking down a little bit. Because there's just too many things to go on to keep track of. And honestly, the camera is not particularly good at managing both a very small character like Bayonetta compared to the large kaiju characters as you summon them on screen, right? So, you know, it's not... I like it as a concept. I think it was an interesting idea to expand the combat system. I just think in general the refocus on the demons, they went a little bit too far with it. And honestly, frankly, like, there's one demon design that's just a complete miss for me. The train demon is just...
I was going to say the train.
It's just a complete miss. Every time I see the train show up, I'm like, it just doesn't feel like Bayonetta, quite frankly.
Yeah. It feels like one of those games called... it's like a reverse tower defense.
Yeah, when you use it, yeah,
it's like a tower offense where you have auto characters coming, but you're the one that's controlling the auto character to take out towers against the AI. That's what it kind of is, and it's super annoying.
It's just not fun. I mean, more than anything else, it's just not fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and that theme that line is just not fun. It happens more and more often as I've gotten through the game. Except for again when you get those verses where you fight and you're doing
Yep.
what Bayonetta does great. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what makes it fun. You need to feel the power of the Umber Witch of Bayonetta and kicking ass. But it's just so many. It gets bogged down with so much stuff. So I don't know where you're at. And again, I'm trying to. We haven't really talked about any spoilers, really. I mean, without everything you've seen in the trailer. But I mean, you're at the point now. You're still dealing with sand and stuff, right?
I'm still in sand, but I've gotten past the Viola stage with sand, and I'm now playing as Bayonetta, and we're getting introduced to the Egyptian version of Bayonetta now. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, all right. So
and I've got the frog demon at this point.
Okay.
Which is cool. I love the frog demon.
Yeah.
The frog demon is like, yes, this is Bayonetta, right?
Yes.
The train demon is not Bayonetta, in my opinion.
The fight even for the frog demon was terrific too.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't like crazy. I didn't feel like it was crazy hard or anything, but it was just fun to see the spectacle of it and watch it doing its random stuff. Like, what the hell is going? Like, that's what I love. That's when Bayonetta is right. Is when
Bayonetta is silly and it remembers that
Yeah.
it's supposed to be silly. That's when it's the most fun, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. When you're saying what the hell or what the part is the most important part of Bayonetta game. And there are moments where they're still doing that. So, I hate to break it to you, but you do have another Viola stage ahead of you coming up. If you have the patience to keep playing it.
You're farther than I am at this point. That's crazy because I bought it a couple days before you did.
Yeah, but you know what? But here's the thing, though: is you bought a couple days before I did, and then I was picking at it, but then I was really trying to play it like the first two. Like I was trying to do every single thing. But again, like my tolerance level waned a couple days ago. Where I was like, if I can't do this in 2 or 3 tries, I'm done, and I'll keep going. Because the game itself isn't that hard so far. Like, I've had to sit there and try to actually advance the story and sit there on repeatedly try to beat the game. Because I know that if you're doing this peripheral stuff, you're going to get more items to get your stamina, your heart, your vitality up, or your magic up. But so far, I haven't needed any of that. I still have a stack of like hearts ready to go, and a stack of
moon pearls
ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting on them. I'm not doing anything with them yet. And then once you told me this, which really, again, aggravates me, is you have to split up your witch hearts and moon pearls between the 2 characters. Why?
Yeah.
So frustrating because, the game should be called Bayonetta, not Bayonetta, or they retitle it Bayonetta and Viola.
And Viola, right? Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. So, and I'm at that point now, too, where I'm just sort of going through the main story. And if a side thing seems accessible and not cumbersome or annoying, I'll do it. But at this point, I'm just going through it. With Bayonetta 1 and 2, like, I wanted to do every single thing. I wanted to squeeze as much blood out of that rock as possible.
Yep.
But to this point with Bayonetta 3, it's just sort of like... there's the momentum of me really loving this franchise, but that momentum only gets you so far.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's really a shame. I like at this point now, because I've had so much fun with the first 2. All I'm trying to do now is just try to beat the game, and I don't know whether I will go back and do side stuff because it's just not fun. But I'm just hoping that maybe there's something that'll click. We'll go, oh, okay, now I will want to go back and replay this. But no, it hasn't happened yet. Like I don't feel guilty leaving those other cats behind or leaving that stupid raven flying around behind. I don't care. I'm not going to chase it and figure out where to head it off at the pass because again, I feel like it's broken. But like even the raven when it's flying around, I know the path. I jump ahead of it and I wait for it. It just flies overhead. I'll jump up. It still won't get it. And then randomly, sometimes it'll pop. It's like I hate this. It's just like, did they not test this? I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know. I agree with you though. Honestly, the feeling that I got today when I finished that Viola mission in the desert was, you know what I want to play? Bayonetta 2.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like the same way. I was like feeling the same way. I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind going back to that. You know, out of the, like you like Bayonetta 2, I like Bayonetta 1 still myself, but they're
Mm-hmm.
both good. Like I'm really like you're really. I mean, you you're really. It's so minuscule. Like
Oh, I
what you
know. The
seem to be like
differences is
so
very
good.
small. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like the difference between The Godfather 1 versus The
yeah,
Godfather Part
yeah.
2, right?
Exactly. You just pick your flavor. That's all. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, but you're clearly wrong if you like Bayonetta 3.
Which ironically holds, or interestingly holds, with the Godfather Part 3. So,
Oh, that's true. That's really
yeah.
true.
Although
Wow.
apparently, and I just realized this, I haven't seen it. I need to go back and watch it, but I did. I looked it up. Apparently, Coppola a couple of years ago now, a while ago now, went back and completely re-edited um, uh, um, The Godfather Part 3 and renamed it as something like either The Death of Michael Corleone, A Godfather Coda, or just The Godfather Coda, or something along those lines.
Okay.
I haven't
Interesting.
seen it yet, but apparently he completely re-edited the third movie.
But 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 why?
Well,
He
he
just wants to
almost.
fix
My
it.
understanding is he kind of removed the Sofia Coppola storyline,
Okay.
sort of re-emphasized some of the other storylines that worked a little bit better. I think he was just kind
Mm,
of addressing some of the criticisms of the film.
okay.
I'm curious. I should watch it. I'm curious to see if it actually ended up. And now I think The Godfather Part 3 kind of gets a bum rap. Is it the
Yeah.
weakest of the three movies? Yes. Is Sofia Coppola not great in as that character? Yes. Does it deserve the ire that it has gotten over the years? No, I don't think so. I think it's
Mm. It's just
probably,
suffer.
yeah,
Yeah. It's just suffering from how incredible the first two were.
right,
Really. Like that's
right,
what I think that's what people are. They were expecting. You can't hit a home run every single time.
right.
But he happened to hit home runs with the first two. Uh, that's my impression I got. Just high expectations. You set yourself so high
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, the chances of hitting another lucky seven for your third one seems pretty tough. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, but yeah, that's interesting though. So he thought he'd go back and tweak it. Huh? I didn't
It
know
looks
that.
like it. Yeah, I need to go back and watch it, but I haven't as of yet. So
Sadly, I mean, you're gonna hate me for this, but I
no.
don't understand. I never understood the fascination with Godfather. I mean, I think they're great. I
Mm-hmm.
like them a lot, but I guess I came to the party late. Like, I just think I mean, they're good movies.
I mean, the first movie came out
Um,
in 1974,
yeah,
so I don't
completely.
know. I mean, there was
Yeah,
no way for you to come to that movie
yeah,
anything but late. But
yeah. But meaning, like, I didn't see them till 2015. It's
mm-hmm,
pretty
mm-hmm.
late,
That
you
is that
know.
okay. That's pretty
Yeah,
late. I mean,
yeah,
I saw The Godfather 1 in 1999
yeah.
and The Godfather
See,
2 in 1999. That
yeah.
was like when I went on this big journey of discovery of cinema.
Hmm?
Or maybe it was even 98, was my junior and senior year of high school as I discovered film and
Huh? Yeah, and you're
just
all
like
into it.
drank from the fire hose for a while, right? Um, so yeah, so you saw them over a decade and a half
Yeah,
later than I
yeah,
did. So
yeah. But I think a lot of people, if within our rough age range, would have seen it around when you saw it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
perspective. Whereas I saw it much later. So yeah, my glasses are a little bit tainted because of that. Because like, okay, I know why people like this movie, but um, yeah, I think it's great. It's incredible acting, all that stuff is there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah. But yeah, as far as threes are concerned, there's a yeah in video games typically there's always an expectation that the sequels always tend to be better. I don't know what the ratio is for that because the technology improves and they get better with the engineers coding the game and optimizing stuff and making loading times faster. Anything you want to talk about for a sequel for every game usually is there. But there are some games where when you make that sequel, they just kind of do not pan out. I think Bayonetta 3 is kind of going down that same path, and for me, Ninja Gaiden 3 did the same thing. If they came on the Xbox or PlayStation, it was not good compared to
Mm.
Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2. Um, yeah. Jury's still up for God of War, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really I didn't even beat God of War 3. And then I don't own a system. I don't even know if the God of War reboot came out on PS4.
Yeah, it was supposedly it's coded and optimized for PS4,
Mm-hmm.
but they also have the PS5 will just make it even more pretty,
I see.
if anything. So
I see. So I guess I could play God of War for, I think they just called it God of War, which is a thing that I hate that people do, but whatever.
yeah, what number is this one?
It's
Sorry, God of
the
War.
Ragnarok, the new one, is the fifth God of War game. I mean, if you only consider the main console,
Yeah, okay, that
because
makes
I
sense.
think they did at least one on the PSP. I don't know if they did multiple ones on the PS on the short lived, or not short lived, but the no longer
Mhm.
supported PlayStation Portable or PlayStation Vista. Um, but if you just consider the main consoles, this is the fifth God of War game in the main series. I part of me, I have a lot of friends who, when they talk about the reboot, the thing that always comes up first is the father son relationship between Kratos and his son, and I'm like,
Huh?
that's not a thing that ever occurred to me that I would care about in a God of War game. Like, why? And maybe it's because I'm a middle-aged man without children. Maybe if I had kids, I'd feel differently.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't like. I never really understood why that was a thing. And yeah, it's a very pretty game. I mean,
hmm
I'm not disparaging the technology behind the visuals, but in terms of the gameplay, it looks like every other game that has an asymmetrical camera position with a lot of walk and talk systems, followed by lumbering combat where you fight a single enemy at a time. Right? It's just like
Yeah,
there's a million action games in that vein, and I didn't understand what ground this game was breaking. I mean,
yeah.
I've for work, I've at the very least looked at a lot of Let's Plays.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I don't know the whole story. I'm obviously not an expert. I'm not trying to pretend to be. But at least from what I've seen,
hmm
it's just like, yeah, I saw that in God of War. Yeah, I mean, I saw that in Last of Us. Yep, I saw that in Dead Space. Yep, I saw that in Resident Evil 4. Yep, I saw this in this. Yep, I saw this in that. There's no point in the game where I'm like, wow, this seems really unique to this property, right?
Yeah.
It feels like you've taken a bunch of mechanics and you've sort of thrown them in a pot and you've stirred them together and you've taken the God of War spice and you've put it on top of it. But even that, it's not, because the thing that it was always so iconic about Kratos was his dual chain swords,
Yeah,
right?
and they took that
And they
out
took that
for
out,
that.
and now it's
Yeah,
just he's got what, an axe? Yeah, there's a
yeah,
1,000 games that have an axe. I mean, it's not,
yeah.
I mean, so I don't know. I didn't understand what was so revolutionary about this game. It just seemed like yet another asymmetrical action brawler, with lush graphics and overwrought self-important cutscenes that features Kratos and his son, which is like, that's not a Kratos I care about, right? I want the
Yeah.
Kratos where you have the mini game where you jump in bed with the girls, and if you press the
Mm.
buttons correctly, you get a bunch of health orbs, like that. The sort of this hedonistic, um,
Yeah.
narcissistic
Yeah.
character. It's just like that. I guess maybe I'm being predictable, but Kratos was always the male power fantasy, right? And
Uh-huh.
turning him into this kind of doting dad who lumbers through Norse mythology is like, that's not really where I was expecting the character to go.
hmm
But, honestly, and I'm sorry, I'm monopolizing this. If you look at the people who are making the game, they're all middle-aged dads now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. hmm
And so it's like, it's
Yeah.
not surprising that that's the character, or the direction the character went, is the people who are making it are middle-aged dads.
Yeah. And they may have been on the teams when he was hedonistic way back on God of War 2 or
Yeah,
3 and whatever, and then they've
yeah.
matured and I think that's what makes it kind of interesting is as Ori Balrog, I'm assuming, and I don't know.
I believe, because David Jaffe's long since left Sony. I believe it was Cory Balrog who did
Yeah.
the reboot.
Mhm. I'm assuming he just thought, like, what if, like, he pretty much posed as a what if, what if Kratos had a son and had to take care of him in the game, and that's kind of where it came, where it went.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people like, I see what you're saying about uh, what it feels like misplaced fan fandom for the game. I think what it was the shock value of taking this character that is expected to be this certain way, and then now is a parental figure, something that was unexpected. And I think that shock value is what carried the game, in my perception. And the narrative
Sure.
was fun too. I actually enjoyed seeing him. I mean, again, I don't have kids either, so but I enjoyed seeing their relationship and him saying "boy," blah blah blah. And he was
Mm-hmm.
he was a terrible dad.
Right,
That's
like,
how I saw
I'm
it.
sorry,
He's an
like,
awful dad.
why in the name of God do I want to experience another terrible dad? Like, this is
Yeah.
not in my list of things to do. This is not on my
Yeah.
bucket list. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like,
yeah.
do I need to be triggered right now? No, I don't need to be triggered right now. I have enough personal trauma regarding that, you know?
Yeah, but I get, I totally understand that. For me though, it's just the narrative of this duo
Mm-hmm.
navigating through, and I just enjoyed it for the story. That's really for me what I.
That's what everybody talks about. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know a single person who can call it a single gameplay moment where, like, oh my God, there was this one moment in the game where it was just so fun to play, right? Like,
but see,
the
well,
only thing
I'll
I hear
tell you.
people talking about is like the dynamic between Kratos and his son. This one
Yeah.
cutscene, this other cutscene, and I'm like, okay, I would thank you. I will go watch a movie because I guarantee you a movie's going to tell a story
fine.
like this better.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. For me though, like there were moments, and again, there's nothing special about the gameplay, but there were
Right.
moments where he had to take down a troll, and he was like all violent and like splitting open the chest and stuff. I thought it was really fun. There's blood all over his face. Like he's
Mhm.
like, man, that's fun. That's pretty cool. Like even the intro scene where he's fighting whatever god it was, that skinny god that can't die. I can't remember what his name was. Like it was very the narrative speed as you're playing through the narrative gameplay, I guess. It was just fun. Like it was.
Mm-hmm.
I found it very well. I thought it was well paced. I thought it was just exciting. Got me amped to play the game. I thought the UI was terrific. I liked all the subtleties with going through the menus and upgrading your stuff. I thought it was pretty intuitive. I wasn't trying to figure things out, especially in Bayonetta 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a whole other story.
Yeah. That's
But
kind of.
but there's nothing. Yeah, but I agree with you on that. Like, there's nothing groundbreaking about the game. That it was basically they just really know how to take advantage of Sony's hardware and make things look really, really pretty compared to other games. And even now, it still holds up. Like if you play it now, it's
No, visually, but I mean, look, if you
Yeah.
want to, for me, and I guess maybe my bar is low, but Bayonetta 3 holds up, right? And this is
Mhm.
on a piece of hardware at this point that's,
yeah,
from a technology standpoint, is over a decade old.
Yeah.
For me, like, visual fidelity peaked, right? It's like, yeah, you can
Mhm.
add more normal maps, you can add HDR
Yeah.
lighting, you can, I mean, but
yeah,
I have crossed the threshold. I will look at, on a rare occasion when I just want to laugh, I will look at these like Digital Foundry videos which compare different versions of the same
Oh,
game
yeah,
or
yeah,
different
yeah, yeah.
levels of settings of one game, and it's just like, that looks the same to me. That looks the same to me.
Yeah,
That
I'm
looks
the
the
same way.
same to me.
I'm with
You
you
know,
on that
it's just
too.
like
I don't get it. I don't understand, why does this matter? Like,
Yeah.
like so what? Like you like and then they'll pause or something like that and show you like some shadows that are kind of
Yeah, and
more
it's like,
sharper. Like, but
okay.
how often am I seeing shadows in a game? I
Right.
don't ever do that. I don't.
Yeah.
care.
It's just like,
Does it move? Does the character punch and do everything when I hit the button? Great.
Right.
You know?
It's just, and some people really love that, and that's fine. I'm not telling people they're wrong for that. I don't get it personally. I don't understand why this is such a big deal. I have friends who are like, graphics are more important than the gameplay in a lot of instances.
I can appreciate the graphics, and again, this is why God of War. I appreciate the subtle details they put into the texture maps, the particle effects, like that stuff. I'll stare at that. That's what makes. Sometimes I'll take it forever to beat a game because I'm actually trying to get the character to clip against the wall, so then it'll force the camera to go in. I can look at the. Like I get into that. Like I really enjoy that, but it's not the end all be all. But I really appreciate it as I play it.
No, I love it when games include
definitely.
model viewers and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But even in Bayonetta 3, I find myself I go into the model viewer and I can see some models, but they don't let you get so close. So I go into the game itself, and then I try to look at Bayonetta's earring, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I go against into a wall, and then and then try to rotate the camera, and the camera has to hit the wall,
Mm-hmm.
clip, and then you can actually see the contours of your earring and stuff. I'm completely nerdy about that stuff. I really appreciate that type of detail. But Bayonetta 3 has that same type of fidelity, especially on the Switch hardware. That I think a lot of people underappreciate. Like there's a whole other level of amazingness to the game, but it's sadly the narrative and the other character, Viola, just detracts from all that hard work.
Yeah, oh, I know. It's such a mess. But
Yeah.
anyway, we've been going for a long time. We're at 55 now. So maybe we should wrap it up. Let's take a look at where you're at, and then we'll call it a night.
Yeah. So we got Mitchell
Well,
disappearing.
there you go.
tonight.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
Looks great. I love that he even
Thanks.
like gets skinnier, kind
Yep,
of squishes as he drops down, gives it kind of a
Mhm.
sense. Yeah, like
He's
it's a
Yep.
great little detail.
Yeah, like as animation goes on for this show, that's kind of the idea. And Calamity Jane is also pretty squishy too, as our resident amphibian, and she's kind of malleable too as well. But Mitchell, as a humanoid, normally I will try to keep them more stiff, but Mitchell is a mysterious type of character too, so I want him to get, and he's also hammy and a comedic type of guy, so he gets to do the super exaggerated kind of stuff, like where things really go out of, like he can really do crazy kind of stuff. That could be that. So there's opportunities to do that. I want to definitely do that with Mitchell. But yeah, so mission successful tonight as we talk through our Weird Al talk and Bayonetta 3 talk.
Yeah, lots of that, and God of War too. We ended up God of War there significantly. So, well, anyway, that's good. I love the animation work that you're doing there. As we wrap up, as always, please head over to calamitydane.rocks. That will take you to our Patreon site. Consider joining up, being a patron with us. Help us make this game a reality. There's some fun goodies that you get access to if you sign up with us. Otherwise, you can check us out on Facebook. That's where we post updates to the show. Mostly right now, it's just letting you know that we've got a new stream or we're not doing a stream. You can also head over to Jane Salamander at Twitter, and we usually do three tweet stories every week. Sometimes those stories will run more than 1 week. This week's story is actually going to be a multi-week story, so if you're looking forward to that. And as we've mentioned all the time, the fun thing about those 3 tweet stories is we were revealing tons of information about the show long before you will see this in the episode. So if you look at our tweets, you're going to have all of these acontextual hints at storylines to come. And then years from now, when you go back and you look at those tweets, you're like, holy, wow, these guys thought about this cartoon way more than they should have. Anyway, I think that's all the social media stuff. As the kids say, please like and subscribe. Although I think that's like falling out of favor now, apparently.
Is it?
I think we're exposing our age by still saying that. Like, I think it's just assumed and you don't need to say it anymore. I'm not certain.
Yeah. Whatever. Just hang out if you want.
Anywho.
If anything, we'll just find a way to get, Jeff mad at us again.
So let's see. What can we say to get Jeff mad at us? I don't think he watches all the way to this point in the show, so I think we're safe.
That's great. That's good.
Yeah,
That's
so
good.
let's find something really vitriolic to say about Jeff. Anyway, thanks for joining us as always. And, we do this live, so if you want to hop in and add to the commentary, I have the chat window open. We can see what you're saying, and we will respond in real time. Well, as real time as YouTube will let you get. Anyway, stay safe out there, everyone, and we'll see you next week. I think, right? We don't have anything. No reason to cancel, so we'll be around next week. All right, everybody, stay safe out there. We'll see you soon. Good night.
Night.